Hello all. Today we will be revising the topic resistance. Now resistance is denoted by the letter capital R. To revise this, first we have to get back to Ohm's law. Ohm's law, if we all can recall, we know that according to Ohm's law, at a given temperature, we all know it is the potential difference across a conductor. It is directly proportional to the current. Current, it is denoted by the letter capital I. Now I've always been telling you that for this proportionality constant, to remove this, we introduce a constant. So in this case, we have V is equal to IR, where R is the resistance. So from this we get R is equal to V upon I. Now, to understand the meaning of resistance, we all have been studying in English that resistance is actually a position or to obstruct something. Okay, so here if we talk of resistance of a property or resistance of a conductor, if we talk of this term resistance of a conductor, then it is its property. The resistance is actually the property of this conductor. So what is this property? This property is actually opposing the flow of current through it. Okay, so depending on how much current it is opposing, we term it as a conductor, as an insulator, or we also conduct it as name it as a poor conductor also. Now, so if we have to, now we've understood the meaning of resistance. So resistance of a conductor is actually the property of this conductor where it opposes the flow of current through it. Mathematically, if we have to understand what resistance is, mathematically again from this Ohm's law, resistance is the ratio of V and I, where V is the potential difference and I is the current. Okay, so if we have to define resistance, what we can say it is actually a ratio of V and I, or it is the property of this conductor which is opposition of the flow of current. Okay, now talking about the SI unit of resistance. Now from this equation, it is very clear resistance is equal to volt upon ampere, and this 1 volt upon 1 ampere is equal to 1 ohm, which is denoted by the Greek letter omega. Okay, so now it's very clear that the SI unit of resistance is ohm. The SI unit of resistance is ohm, which is equal to 1 volt upon 1 ampere. Okay, now if we have to define the SI unit of resistance, so how we'll define it? From this we can define the SI unit also. So 1 ohm is the resistance of a conductor when on application of the potential difference of 1 volt, the current which we get is 1 ampere. Okay. Now let's get back to, so this was all about resistance and its unit. Now what is the cause of resistance? I've told you that in a conductor we have electrons which are free electrons, and they are in random motion, in random direction. They are randomly moving in any direction. These electrons, these free electrons, they're also called the charge carriers. So they are randomly oriented, okay? Now, when we apply a potential difference across it, okay, so they start drifting from lower potential towards the higher potential, okay? And due to this, when these free electrons, they get certain energy, they collide with the fixed ions, and due to these collisions, there is a resistance to the flow of current, and this is the reason for the resistance, okay? Now, talking about a term called resistor. First, we have to understand the meaning, the difference between the resistor and the resistance. Sometimes we tend to confuse or get confused between these two terms. They are actually different terms. Resistor is actually a conductor.